Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tiffany Embry. I am the College Career Military Advisor for ECISD. So I get to oversee college applications, military enlistment, and career growth for students at East Central High School and Cass Lee. So, yay! I know, thank you. My only cheer today, it's fine. Yay, thank you. So today we are going to work with you guys. We have set up something called Senior Symposium, and it is the first year that we're hosting this for you guys in the hopes that we can spend the next 4 days together really working through your post-secondary plans. So today, part of the symposium today will be working with you on your plan for life after high school. Today, we are going to listen and talk to a panel of teachers, well, not really teachers, former teachers, and it's been a long day. It's been a very, very long day. And industry professionals on what it means to be college ready, what it means to be military ready, and what it means to go into the workforce. Because our goal is tomorrow, we're going to get together tomorrow back in here, and we're going to fill out something called an aspiration survey. And an aspiration survey is going to tell us and my team what your plan is after high school, right? So if your plan is to go into the military, I'm going to be able to sort all of your names, and I'm going to figure out what branch you want to go into. I can get you guys with recruiters, and we can start really personalizing what each of you guys need to be successful when you leave in May. Second to that, on Thursday and Friday, we will be in your English classrooms, and we will be helping you guys complete your Apply Texas application to one of the alumni colleges. Tomorrow you're going to learn more information about Alumni Promise and what that looks like and what that covers, and then Thursday and Friday we're going to do that application. The reason that we are asking you to do this is multifaceted. The first reason is because I want you guys to really start thinking long and hard about what life is going to look like in June after you graduate in May. What is your plan? I am not the person that is going to tell you that everybody in this room needs to go to college and you all need to go in and you all need to study whatever you want and you need to go that direction. I am here to tell you that if college is required for your career path, go to college. If you want to go into the military and that is the direction you want to go, let's put that in place. Let's make sure that you have everything taken care of, make sure that I've signed off on all of your paperwork for enlistment, and that you guys already have a date to be able to leave once you graduate. The students that have already enlisted this year already have ship dates, so they know that they're leaving in June and July. They already know what their path is going to be. There's about 7 of them that have already enlisted. So those students already have a path. They know where they're going, they know what date they're leaving, and that is the direction that they're going. If you guys are going into the workforce, that is a different conversation that I'm going to have with you guys, and that is looking at your IBCs, if you need any industry-based certifications, if you need any kind of contacts into the workforce, what that's going to look like. And so as we go through today, there's going to be some conversations about skills that you guys are going to need, some conversations about expectations moving forward, and what that looks like for your future. So before we get started, I want to show you guys a quick message from your superintendent, Mr. Toscano.
Hello, seniors, class of 2025 from East Central High School and Cass Lee High School. We're very excited to bring this symposium opportunity to you here in our community. Our goal for you has always been that you are academically prepared and employable with a clear mind about your options going forward. We have done a great job of helping you discover what you're interested in, what you're good at, and what it's going to take to access that going forward. One more layer of opportunity to make sure you're confident in that is this symposium that we've brought for you here today. So congratulations on making it to your senior year. Congratulations on formulating a very good plan that's going to meet your hopes and dreams going forward. And enjoy the day.
So our goal by the end is that you guys will have a direction and a plan to go. In May, the end of May, you guys are going to walk the stage, you guys are going to graduate, and you're going to be done, right? You're guaranteed 13 years of public education, and in May it's over. Yeah, it is. Your formal ed, whatever. You guys get to decide what that looks like going forward. So when you guys walk the stage in May, I get the really cool opportunity that I get to be the last person that gets to see you as a high school student. If you've ever gone to the ECISD graduation, there's like a big black curtain, right, and all the kids line up behind it, and you walk through the curtain and they announce your name, first, middle, last, and they give you a card. And on your card has a blank on it. And in that blank, we will put what your post-secondary plan is. If you're going into the military, it will say your first, middle, last name, United States Navy. We'll say first, middle, last, Texas Tech University. We're announcing that to your parents, to your friends, and your family, what your post-secondary plan is. That's a really cool opportunity for you guys. And so our goal in the next 4 days is to fill in that blank, to figure out what you're going to do, figure out your pathway, and figure out what the next steps are needed to fill in that blank so we're successful and you guys have a really cool thing to celebrate in May. Okay? So as we get started, there's a couple things that I need from you. On that yellow piece of paper, that is your kind of like passport information page for the week. On that paper, you will fill out day one. As we're talking, as things start coming to your mind, as you start having questions, fill in those questions, right? Fill in, take notes, things that you need to think about. The reason is we will hand that back to you tomorrow. You will fill in day two. If you see on day two, it says that it'll have like the college that you're going to apply for and the pathway that you're going to do, because on Thursday, Friday, when we come in your room, we're going to hand that back to you, and you will have all of your information available right there for you. Your teachers will pick this up before you leave today, so make sure that you are keeping up with it and that you guys are being responsible for that. Okay, so as we get started today, I'm going to turn it over to the panel. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the questions.
Good afternoon, Melvin Mercury, retired military, spent some time at National Security Agency and private sector.
Good afternoon, my name is Lisa Saldana. I work here at the Go Center. If you have seen me before, if you're from past, usually I've been on Wisconsin on Tuesday. I'm a first gen college student. I graduated from HRB, and I'm a former teacher, now I'm a college access advisor.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Evelyn Gonzalez. I graduated from Texas A&M San Antonio in 2019. I'm currently pursuing my master's degree at UTSA. I'm also a first-gen college student, so I can definitely guide you in that pathway as well. But I work for the Alamo Community Colleges. I am Cass Lead, East Central High School's College Connection representative. So if you do choose the Alamo Colleges, I'm here to help you along the way.
Guys, I'm Jeremy Holman. I work for English Iran for Industrial Corporation. I'm a sales representative and engineer for them.
Okay, and like I said, my name is Tiffany Embry. I'm a college advisor. I went to UTSA for my undergrad, UT Arlington, and now at Texas Tech. And so between all of us, we have a wide experience going to school, being traditional college kids, being at like older college kids, I guess, going in as an adult, being an adult learner. And so as we start going through this, you guys can have some questions for us. I want you guys, real quick, a poll. How many of you guys, when you're planning on going to college, are going to be first generation college kids, which means mom or dad did not go to college? Okay, cool. We all are, right? So it has to start somewhere. That change of that family tree has to start somewhere, and you guys get to make that switch, and you guys get to fix that college, you get to make that change in your family tree. Forever and ever, you're going to be the one person that went to college, the first. Okay, so with that first generation college student label, colleges will give you guys and have special opportunities available for you guys, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Ms. Saldana, what are some common misconceptions about life after high school that students need to be aware of?
So these common misconceptions are, quotes that I've heard from seniors this year, last year, my personal experience with other friends. And one of them is that there's only one path. I used to believe this in high school, that college was the only path to go through. Clearly we've stated that it's not the only path. You guys need to understand that sometimes college isn't for everybody, and that's completely okay. There's careers in the military, there's vocational training, you know, so you don't have to just pick one path, and that goes back into choosing like a degree. Maybe some of you guys feel overwhelmed that you have to choose a career right now, and that's the only career that you're going to have for the rest of your life. That's not true. I like to use myself as an example. I went to school for science. I was going to study pre-med. I wanted to go to med school. Found out the very last semester before graduating that I just did not want to do medical school. I don't like people like that, so I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Ended up switching to education. I mean, I'm still helping people, right, in different aspects, so there's not just one path. Another one is that you have to have everything figured out. I've heard this one a lot. I had this misconception as an 18-year-old that as soon as I graduated, I was going to have life figured out. I'm 25. I'm still figuring it out. I like to throw the excuse that I'm just a kid with adult money, right? But I can attest that all of us here, we're still figuring stuff out. You know, we're learning. We're all students. Another one that I hear a lot, and that we hear at the Go Center is, you have to be on your own. You're on your own. You know, and that's not the case. There were times as a college student that I did feel this, but finding a good support system, whether it's your parents, friends, or resources in school, is a good way to kind of put yourself back on track and understanding that it's okay to ask for help. Excuse me. I know some of us may feel a little nervous to ask for help. I was one of those students. I was like, nah, I can do this by myself. But I've come to realize now, as I'm growing into an adult, that it's okay to ask for help, especially because it goes back to us not having everything figured out, right? I'm still learning. I'm always asking Ms. Embry, you know, college-related questions, because in my role, I have to know things for you, right? So I'm always asking for help. Another one is college is the only measure of success. I think we live in this new digital age where you guys can learn things. I call it TikTok University, but I've learned a lot of things through TikTok that maybe college didn't teach me, but it's not the only way to measure your success. I have plenty of successful friends that didn't go to school. I have a friend who flips homes, and he makes probably 3 times more money than I do. I have friends that join the military that get to travel the world. I have friends that are welders, you know. And another one is, and we get this a lot again at the Go Center, and it's, I don't want to go to college because I don't want to be there full time. Surprise, surprise. College is not necessarily 8 hours a day. You get to choose your classes, and you get to choose if you want to go in the morning or if you want to do it in the afternoon. Personal experience, I made the mistake of saying, hey, I'm going to wake up at 8 in the morning and go to class. I could not, right? So it's a learning experience. If you're not a morning person, you can take afternoon courses. So there's no excuse there as to why you can't go to school or go to vocational school or careers, right?
Mr. McMurray, what skills or experiences are most valuable for students to develop before entering the workforce or higher education?
Learning how to communicate with folks. This is going to be extremely important. What I've told every other session we've had here today is that communication that you do today in high school is far different than the requirement of the professional atmosphere. Regardless of what the job is, anywhere from, I'll just pick it, from Walmart to the military to an investment firm, it doesn't matter. You can't go in with a chip on your shoulder. You can't go in like you know
We talk about a lot, we call them soft skills, right? Being able to effectively communicate. I know you guys met with a lot of the size backlash, I'm going to say, of being in class on time, right? Having us stand in the hallway and be like, let's go, right? The reason is we're trying to get you in the routine of being to work on time. Because if you don't show up to work on time, you're going to have that job for about 3.5 minutes because there's 10 other people behind you that can do that job. And it's also a sign of respect, right? If you're not there on time, I don't think that you actually care that you're here. So time, respect, right? And then having a conversation of very simple things, and we love to hear it, and I know it's old-fashioned and it's old. It is yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. All it takes. Because that keeps a teacher or your professional or your boss in mind of like, oh, they pay attention to detail. Practice it. And I always use the example of, can any of you guys name any of our custodians? One of the biggest business schools at Texas A&M takes their seniors to dinner at a really fancy restaurant. And they watch them, and they see how they treat everybody around them. Do they acknowledge the person that's pouring tea into their glass? Do they say, thank you, you're welcome? Because it's a sign of respect. It's how do you treat people who can do nothing for you? So I want you guys, as we talked, start practicing those soft skills. Because once you get in that habit is an easy thing to keep. So keep working on that. Start working on those soft skills. Start talking to those people. We always have the conversation, we've talked about it up here all day, about the conversations that happen in rooms that you're not in. Because how many times do you think that these people have conversations about people that work in their office and that person's not in the room? And you want that conversation to be good, because I'm sure Mr. Holman talks about, in his meetings, about somebody in his office, and he's like, but he's a really good worker. And then that person is put up for a promotion. That person is put up for, hey, do you want to take on this project? Not the rooms that you're in, the rooms that you're not in. So remember that every time you're leaving an impression with somebody, because we always talk about the custodians, right? How do you know that that custodian's husband is not the president of a company? You don't know. And so as you guys begin to build that repertoire in your head, make sure that you're being very aware of how you're presenting yourself. We also talk about dress code, right? We talked about attendance, and the second gripe I always get is dress code. Why can't I wear my crop top to school? Because I can't wear my crop top to school, right? Because this is my professional dress. I don't wear high heels and slacks on Saturdays and Sundays at home. But my expectation is when I come to work, I dress like this because it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of respect to you. It's a sign of respect to my boss. It's a sign of respect to my friends that are here. Because you take me a whole lot less seriously when I show up in my crop top and my Crocs, right? Because you don't want to show up, I always use in 8th grade, I always said, you don't want to fly a pilot that's right 50% of the time. Because 50% of the time that plane's going to crash. If you expect us to be on the game, you guys need to be on the game. And so as we start thinking about this, I want you guys to start thinking about how you can start changing your attitude and start setting you guys up for success, because you guys got a few more months to get this. So Miss Saldana and Ms. Gonzalez, what are some strategies that they can use to start that transition from high school to college?
So one of the biggest strategies I like to emphasize are study and learning habits. I know that nowadays sometimes we want to prioritize our phone, or we're like, I'll just take photos and Like, I'm guilty of that. I'll take photos in class and never go back and look at them. And it wasn't until like my third semester in college where I realized, hey, like that study habit was not really working, right? So understanding and learning how you learn. And that sounds funny, but it really does work. I know TikTok has a lot of, new skill sets that you can learn to learn. And one of the big ones that I took away while I was in college was how I wrote my notes, right? Because I used to just write notes and just kind of stash them and forget about them, but it took, I think, taking my anatomy class to realize, like, hey, my note-taking skills need to be a little bit more detailed because I tend to be the student that's always asking why, right? But sometimes professors will get annoyed at me, like, why, right? So maybe if I wrote my notes in depth a little bit more and used my resources that you guys pay for in your tuition, I could be a little bit more successful in my career, and that really did help me. I was president's list, dean's list, plenty of semesters before COVID, right? That kind of just helped me. So understanding that, and that also translates into the workforce, right? Because we're always learning. Just in this new role that I'm in, like I used to be a teacher, and now I'm in this role, I'm constantly learning. I'm learning to ask for help, especially from Ms. Embry, because I work with her. Because there are things that you guys might ask me that I don't know, right? So it's always learning, as well as taking care of your mental health. I think that's very important. I know before it was just not much talked about, but now it's very important. And as college kids or within a career, there are people and resources that you guys can use, so prioritize that. I know that college can be kind of heavy for some students, especially if you're a full-time student and you work. It can be a handful, so learning how to manage that will help you. In terms of personal strategies, one of the big ones I like to talk to students and that I still work on with myself are setting realistic expectations of yourself, right? Like goals, but I like to call them baby steps. Because sometimes we'll get students in the Go Center that are like, hey, I want to go to this Ivy League school, and I'm like, cool, let's look at your grades. And maybe their grades aren't the best, and I have to be real, right? I don't want to disappoint you, but I have to tell you, hey, right now, we can't get there. But if we start setting these small goals, eventually you can get there. Like Ms. Embry said, now she's going to graduate with her PhD, and it's taken her this far, but she made that expectation real. So setting those personal goals will help you achieve that bigger goal.
I think one for me academically, it was learning that I had to be responsible as an adult. So time management was key for me. Getting that planner for homework and putting all my due dates for assignments, or just simply putting my work schedule, because I had to balance my work and my life and school all together as an adult. The other one is asking for help when needed. At the college level, in the military, in your workplace, there are people that want to see you succeed. So relying on them as mentors, as people that can navigate you and provide you that assistance that you need is really, really high key. I always say there is no stupid question, because you hear it all the time. I think this is a dumb question. There is no dumb questions in college or in life in general, because you as a senior, you're still navigating responsibilities, adulthood. So just rely on those individuals that are wanting to pour into you, and just take all that we can.
Do you want to do number 5? Do you want to do number 5? So since Ms. Lee left us, how can students build a support network to help them succeed? Holman or?
Sure, I'll
Okay.
follow this whole little bit. The best way, even Ms. Lee said it herself, obviously developing your communication, you've heard that, say that multiple times a day. But to help also succeed in life, you need to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. You want to be successful, surround yourself with like-minded individuals. You don't have to be the smartest one, you don't have to be the dumbest one, but if you can get a group of friends, mentors, supporters, they will help you succeed in life. And find that early in life if you can, and it'll carry you ways and make it worthwhile.
I'll say say that's probably the biggest thing, is finding a group of people, especially when you get to college, and college is your thing, right? The people in your major, the people that are in your classes with you, you cannot get through college by yourself. It is almost impossible. What you have to have is a group of people that are going to hold you and make you accountable, and you're going to be on a group text at 9 p.m., and somebody's going to text, don't forget to turn in that assignment. You're going to go, oh, okay, I remember. Because it's impossible to do it all by yourself. And so when you get there and when you start finding that group of people, lean into it. They do not have to be your bestest friends, but they have to be a support system that's going to help you guys be successful when things are hard. So the next question is for Mr. Holman and Mr. McMurray. What do you see people struggle with the most when it comes to entering the workforce or the military?
I'll lead off for, again, learning how to properly communicate, develop professional communication, learn how to write a proper email with the appropriate subject. Don't just put a pack out. I mean, learn how to send a proper text message, make a phone call. A lot of my business now, I do via text or email. I don't even really pick up the phone and talk to anybody. Just as written communication. And if you can't develop that early on, you're not going to succeed in whatever your goal is or whatever your life choice is.
For the folks that have joined the military, thank you very much. Appreciate you. You're someone in the last group, you're 1% of 1%. If you get the right career field, turn into, say you do cybersecurity, or you do artificial intelligence, or intelligence analysis, the military will end up sponsoring a top secret clearance for you. Now you are 1% of 1% of 1%. So I currently hold that clearance. It is very stringent. You can't do drugs. You have to keep good financials. You can't go bankrupt. All those things are important when you're trying to keep national intelligence. So I applaud those folks that go into the military. Use the military as your travel agent. I tell people all the time, once you get out of tech school, go back to school, go back to college. They're going to pay for it. It's 100%. Crazy if you didn't. And then every assignment you take, plan that assignment 9 months to 6 months out. If you've never been to Germany, go to Germany. If you've never been to Japan, go to Japan. It's free. They send you there, right? I was in Germany for 7 years, 2 different times, living in southern Bavaria, 15 minutes from Austria. It's beautiful. People pay thousands of dollars to go there for a vacation. Been to Italy, France, Switzerland, Prague, Alaska a couple times. So use this opportunity when you go in the military, embrace it. You'll enjoy it. Don't worry about the discipline, they'll give you that. It seems like the folks that are coming out of the military and leaving the service after 4 years or 6 years, they get hired very quickly. Why? Because they've been instilled with discipline and respect for their peers. You'll never see a military guy come out of the military if he came out honorably. He will not enter the workforce and be belligerent. He will be respectful, he or she will. Those are the people that presidents and CEOs want at their companies. So again, what Mr. Holman said, it's critical that you guys learn how to communicate. You walked into my office, you sat down, you opened your phone up, you would not be in my office very long. If you sat back in the chair and you put your legs crossed, your feet crossed, you would not be in my office very long. So those are things I'm trying to tell you as someone that's been around for years, like this entire group. Is, I didn't have this when I graduated high school. I graduated with 17 people. 13 received. 4 graduated juniors. In a little town of 602. We didn't have senior day or anything like that. So I applaud you. Please just do your best and learn how to communicate with people. It'll help you.
And we talk about military enlistment, so if you guys are planning on enlisting in the military, you guys have to go through something called the ASVAB. You have to take an ASVAB test, right? And the ASVAB test is a basic entrance test into the military. So I always have the students that come into my office and go, no, 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 miss, I'm not going to college, I'm going into the military. And I go, awesome, like, absolutely, like what branch, you know, what recruiter do I need to call, and have you taken the ASVAB? And they go, well, yeah, I took it last year. And I go, oh, cool, cool, let's pull up your scores, right? Let's have a conversation. And so we pull up scores, and scores are not high enough to get into the armed forces. You have to have a qualifying score to get into the military. So make sure that if the military is your option, you're studying for that test, because your score on that test then determines what job you get in the military, right? Like I said, you don't want somebody that's right 50% of the time flying a plane. Well, they're not going to give you $1 billion fighter jet when you can't do 8th grade math. They're not going to do it. I don't care how cute you are, how nice you are, they don't. And so everything is based on a score. And so if your plan is for the military, we are having an ASVAB test, you can take it, you can see what your score is, and we can make determinations from there. But my suggestion to you, if that's your plan, we need to start studying and you need to put that plan in place, because you want the absolutely best score that you can to get you qualified for the job that you want. So the next question that we have is for, I guess we're getting ready. Almost getting ready. See, we all live with timers. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to kind of wrap up what we're talking about today. And I hope you guys got a little bit to think about tonight when you get home. A couple things. I want you guys to go home and have a conversation with mom and dad, right? Have a conversation with them. Say, hey, what are your plans? What do you think? All of that stuff, right? Because they need to know. And what you don't want to do is be surprised in the end if they can't help you with college, or if they can, right? We need to know. And I want you to go home and kind of think about what your plan is for Thursday, Friday. Okay? So as we wrap up today, I'm going to close it out with the panel and ask them the very last question that I always ask all of our interviewers. And I ask them, what are some words of wisdom that they have for you? And what would they tell their 18-year-old self if they could go back?
Two things. I've added two things since our last session. One, communicate with your parents, and talk about the things you want to do. Maybe they can help, maybe they can guide you. And number two, do not lie, steal, cheat, tolerate anyone that does. That's a run-off free. If you live by those words, you'll be great. You'll be a great citizen.
So something I would tell myself if I was 18 again, most importantly, that it's okay to ask for help, and even when you don't believe in yourself, honestly, just fake it till you make it.
For me, I would say embrace the change and enjoy your journey. In life, there are going to be things that you run into as far as barriers. So just, keep getting up and keep going.
For me, you're fixing to turn a new chapter in your life and go do something you haven't done before, whether it's the military or college or the workforce. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask your boss, ask your peers. Don't worry about turnaround. There's people out there that are willing to talk and help and assist and see you grow and succeed. And find a mentor. Those are, I guess, my two. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Figure out where you're going, and then find a mentor or accountability person to hold you to your standards.
I guess my words of wisdom to you guys would be, wherever you are now does not have to be where you end up. I graduated from a small school 24 years ago with a graduating class of 97 kids. I was number 97 with a 1.25 GPA. I did not walk the stage of my high school graduation. So every time that I get to see you guys walk is a time, and to this day, my graduation cap and gown from high school 25 years later is hanging on the back door of my closet because I see it every day, right? And it's there because where you are does not determine where you go. right? I went to summer school the summer after I graduated because we didn't have nice teachers back in the late 90s that would round your grade and give you 2 extra points. I had a 69 in Algebra 2. Yeah, it was bad. They looked at me and said, Ms. Dunker, guess what? You're going to summer school. Yay. And so when everybody else was walking the stage in June, I was eating Olive Garden with my parents. And so if you take anything away from this, if you were not the most awesome high school kid and you did not have the most awesome grades, it does not determine where you go. The only school I could get into was Palo Alto College, and I went because that was the only place that they would let me in. And I went and got my grades up, and I went to UTSA, and went to Arlington, and now I'm at Tech. And you can go and you can change things, but please do not let your current circumstances change where you're going to be. And so my hope is that sometime between now and Friday, you have made a decision, you have thought about it, and you start to really start daydreaming about where you want to go, because all of us have some really cool stories and some really cool opportunities for you guys. You just need to ask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to you guys. On your yellow piece of paper, please make sure you have your teacher's first name or last name, your name, first name, last name, and your class period. And I want you to do day 1 reflection.